Pinot Noir is kind of like what I think of T.S. Eliot. T.S. Eliot's one of the greatest poets of the 20th century. And most people don't get him. But when you sit and you read T.S. Eliot, you really understand what he's talking about. You realize how brilliant he is. I think it's the same thing with the Pinot Noir. When you sit and just, let me just drink it. Let me just drink it. Let me think about it. And then you understand.
It's a thinking person's wine.
It really is.
Well, and that brings us to the point that back in the Sideways era. So the movie Sideways came out. Love that movie. Love it. Saw it like probably 6-7 times. Could see it 10 more times.
John Adams
brilliant acting. Paul Giamatti.
John Adams.
Phenomenal. Phenomenal in it. Great direction. And the only thing that happened was there was like maybe, a handful of wineries and vineyards growing and making Pinot.
Well,
in California.
His great line is, I ain't drinking Merlot. I'm only drinking Pinot.
Right. So what happened was nobody really drank Pinot. Nobody had heard of it. I mean, a lot of people had heard of it, but it wasn't the general populace go-to wine. And so the right vineyards were growing it, making it, creating it. So it had the perfect terroir. You got a Pinot, you knew what it was always pretty much great. If you got it, I'm just talking the California region now of Pinot. So what happened was Sideways comes out, phenomenal movie. Everybody gets hooked on wine. He's talking about Pinot all the time and how he hates Merlot. So Merlot got a really bad name, and Merlot actually came back, and now there's phenomenal Merlots out there. They're incredible. They're back to being what they should be. But what had happened was Merlot went through a craze where all of a sudden the general population discovered it. Everybody was buying Merlot, and then everybody started making Merlot, and people that shouldn't have been making it were making it, and that's what they talk about in Sideways. So then, deja vu, the same thing happens with the Pinot Noir. So after Sideways, everybody's like, I gotta have some Pinot Noir because he said that's the best wine, and that's what I want to drink. And all these wineries and all these vineyards started growing Pinot and making Pinot that it shouldn't have been. Like we said, it's a very picky grape. It needs to be grown only in certain areas with certain weather conditions, and it needs to fight. And if you don't do that, it's not going to develop into what it can be. So all these people were making Pinot, and it was like a glut of Pinot.
And it wasn't good.
It was terrible. And what happened to the Merlot market was the same thing that Sideways caused.
Absolutely.
Inadvertently, I'm sure, to go the sideways of the Pinot the same way. So it's so funny, but if you knew about Pinot before, those of us who were like Pinot lovers to begin with, when that happened, we just stuck with like our 5 favorite places that we knew. They know what they're doing. They know how to make it. So we had to ride this whole storm of craziness for quite a few years. Finally, now everything has calmed down, and the right people have come back to make Pinot. It's not as crazy demand for it, and so the right vineyards, the right wineries are making it and growing it and creating it. And Costco, they source great grapes from the right places. Yep. And they've done this in spades with this, because this is they just picked the perfect region.
Now we should also talk about the fact that there are some Pinots out there that are good wines, but they don't really taste like Pinots. They actually taste like they're Merlots or Cabs. I would say more Merlots.
Yeah, they're more fruit forward, and they don't have the delicacy layers. They're heavier kinds of Pinot flavors. And they're nice, they're fine, it's up to your palate. So I never say that anybody is wrong to like a certain wine. Everybody's got their own flavor profile and their own palate, and whatever works for you, I'm all about the wine. So if it works for you and you love it, drink it. That's what I say. But so at the same time, if you love a Merlot or you love a Pinot that comes from a certain area that's not Carneros or something other than what we're saying, if you love it, drink it. Go for it.